guest this week. His name is Damian Soul, real soulful brother from Brixton, England. Brixton, stand up, be recognized.
Yes.
Damian, welcome to World
Thank
Music
you, my
News
brother.
Boss.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome to Jamrock, Bridget.
Yeah, loving it.
How has it been?
It's been a ride, man. Yes, there's been a lot of inspiration, lots of creativity. I'm just in the right place at the right time.
So tell us where you're from, your background in music, and how you get to where you are now.
So my background, I started singing young, probably 5. My nan took me to the local church and I joined the gospel choir, which is where my passion for real faithful music came from. It was a hobby for a long time. I couldn't really see how I would turn it into, a career, because I was from a place where nobody really gets out, You're surrounded by distractions. But I made a few good choices. I became a nurse and I started doing some open mics. And then I realized I could write songs, so I started writing songs for a few people here and there. And yeah, it was a hobby that I could see could lead somewhere, eventually maybe, at that time.
I know you're being modest, but tell us some of the songs you've written and for who.
I've had some sessions, Niles Barkley, Simply Red, to name a couple.
These aren't just regular.
Yeah. I was right place, right time. I had most of my big sessions when I was homeless. I was literally staying in a hostel. I had to leave where I'd come from because it wasn't good for my health. So I went out on my own and life was good to me. I met all the right people because I was really hungry and passionate. I just wanted to sing. It wasn't about money, Yeah, I was lucky.
As an artist, what is the space like in the UK for singers, for soul singers?
I think since the pandemic, people are hungry for some substance. There's so much overproduced copycat. Everyone wants to be like someone else or just fit in with the popular. So I think real soul singers now are very popular. They are the new pop in the UK.
Is reggae dancehall still big in the UK?
Yeah, it's massive. Yeah, Brixton, South London, and East Sussex, Hastings, where my dad was from. Reggae was the first scene I saw as a rebellious scene that came from outside that people latched onto and they loved, especially in Brixton. I was surrounded by Caribbean and Afro music, and I gravitated towards it. I never thought I'd actually be in Jamaica recording music, so I'm highly blessed.
And you got to Jamaica because you signed a new record deal with Jam Music.
Yeah. Once again, right place, right time. My mother's younger brother was doing some jobs for John Baker at his home in London, and he played him some of my music. 4 years later, here I am, recorded an album. We've got 2 singles ready to come out, and yeah, full creative flow.
How many rivers do we have to cross before we die? Voices of the ghetto. I see faces standing over me. Yeah, voices of the ghetto. I see a story of brutality.
So you're fully dropping this album. You have a name for it as yet?
Freedom is the first EP. It's a 5-track EP. So the first single is Freedom, and then we've got Get Back Up Again. Third track is Ticket Out, and then we've got Picking Up the Pieces, and so on and so forth.
So you've been in Jamaica for the last 7 weeks.
Yeah.
What is the difference? What is it like hanging out in Jamaica as a Brixton man? Is there a culture shock?
No, that's the funny thing. I've got friends who live in Kingston who are more wary to interact than me. Like, you know, when I was in Portmore, I was going to the local bars, and Kenny's Wildflower was my local, and they embraced me. They asked me to come back and do a show, and you know, I just love it. I feel at home. I'm quite lucky. I kind of feel at home wherever I am, but especially here.
I could actually see you doing a show at Kenny's Wildflower.
Yeah, it's a great place.
So you're at Kenny's Wildflower. The first song you're performing, sing it for me. Like, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
was born by the river, yeah, in a little town, and Lord, just like that river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, and I know change gon' come. That would be my
Wow.
off the dome what I would go to.
Classic Sam Cooke.
Yeah,
You went
yeah.
from classic like that.
The first man I met, he was 95 when I went to that bar, and he was a singer in his younger days. And you know what? It all comes from blues, from gospel, from soul. That's what I do. You know, I'm a soul singer. So
So, to the world, it's very obvious you're a white singer,
yeah.
but your music is soul music. How do you thread the line of being appropriate and not culturally appropriating?
That's a new one to me. So I've been schooled on this for the last 7 weeks. And you know what? I'm honest when I sing. When I write songs, I'm writing from a place of observation. I'm writing, and I don't recreate it. I create what I feel. So I do feel that when your music is soul, there's no color. I know it sounds like a cliche, but everybody I've encountered doesn't see me as a white person singing black music. They see me as Damian singing Damian Soul. So, yeah, that's what I'm
Just
learning.
be yourself.
Just myself, yeah.
Who are your inspirations for singing?
First and foremost, it would probably be my mum. You know, she was the person who taught me rhythm as a kid, and then my grandmother took me to church, so I learnt about harmonizing. Music inspirations, I would probably go, you know, it'd be Sam Cooke, Gil Scott-Heron. There's so many, yeah. But Gil Scott-Heron's probably one of my favorite songwriters.
You know, Gil Scott-Heron's father is Jamaican.
There we go. It all comes back. It's a full circle, comes back to the roots.
Yeah.
You know, Donny Hathaway is he's my vocal god. He's the man who taught me the tones and the breathing. You know, so Donny Hathaway, Gil Scott-Heron, they're up there.
As you get on with your musical career in this digital world, you have to maneuver, you have to target your audience. Who exactly are you making music for?
So there's all this stigma. I've been asked, which age group are you aiming it to? Now, I was listening to Motown when I was 6. You know, I know it's changed. It would probably, I'd have to say, 18 to 40. But it's anybody who's been through a rough time and found hope to believe in themselves. That's who I'm singing for, you know. Yeah, I came from a place where you don't often get out, and I found a way out, and it was music. So that's who I'm singing for.
You said that. You said don't often get out. What do you mean by don't often get out?
So in the UK, where I come from, my mother was from South London, my dad was from East Sussex, Hastings. There's a lot of drugs, there's a lot of crime, there's a lot of hustling. Most people have to hustle to get anywhere. They're working class, but 90% don't work. You know, there's no jobs. So luckily I had a passion for caring, and I became a psychiatric nurse from 16 years old. You know, that was the way I got out, and I used to sing to my patients, to my clients when they were agitated, and they never went crazy on me. They always calmed down. So I realized there was something there in the voice that I could offer, you know.
You told me, and I don't know how comfortable you are talking about this, but you told me about struggling to overcome addictions at some point.
Yeah.
Did this inform your music, and can you speak,
Heavily.
Can you speak on how the progress of being detoxed?
You know what? I had to detox from the drama that came with that, where I came from. A lot of my friends, I'd say out of 15, 11 are dead, you know. And my few friends that are still in the UK, they're in and out of prison, you know, constantly from 16 years old. I've been lucky, you know, because if I didn't have music, if I didn't have faith, if I didn't believe that one day I'm going to be able to give something back and it may lift me and my family and those that I'm singing for, then I wouldn't be here, you know. Faith was the thing that helped me overcome my surroundings. You don't have to be a product of your environment, but it's very difficult when you're alone trying to stand up, you know.
Now, a lot of people look at you and they'll be like, yo, you're white, you have privilege, you're going through the world. Like, what kind of struggle are you talking about? Because we have real struggles in Jamaica where people are hungry,
real
people
talk.
can't live.
Yeah.
Like, what would you say to them that probably don't see your struggle as real?
Well, the struggle, you know, I was homeless at 17. My dad was in prison most of my childhood. My mother, my mum and dad split up, so I was on my own. I went around a few different caregivers, let's say, looked after me. I was shipped off to Israel. I was very displaced. I didn't know where I belonged, but that is why I feel at home anywhere now, because I moved around so much, you know. But my struggle was real. Like I said, I was one of the lucky ones. A lot of my friends didn't make it, and they're no longer here. A lot of it was suicide. Some were murdered because they were involved in criminality. And I had to make the sacrifice to move away from that and go on my own. So I moved to Ireland. And since I moved to Ireland, you know, my horizons have just broadened and they've become clear.
Wow, that's an interesting story. The EP you're about to drop, what kind of music is on it? Reggae music, soul music?
So we haven't got reggae music on this one, but all of my producers are Jamaican. So I've got the best musicians in the world playing, writing with me.
Cool.
You
Tell
know.
me some of them.
Well, Dale Virgo, he's our first producer. We've got Universal, who's actually Chronic's brother. Troy Baker, he lives in LA, but he was born and raised in Jamaica. So the energy is from here, but it's out of genre. I'm creating not soul music, not reggae, not hip hop, not pop. It's Damian Soul. You know, it's what I feel, and I've luckily got the backing to be able to take creative control, and my team believes in me and they're pushing it.
And with this deal with G-Jam, you're looking to leverage a distribution deal.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a couple of players that want to get involved. So I can't really say too much yet, but it's going to be global. You know, finally the message is right, and I've got the right platform and the right people that can release it at a level so it sprinkles across the world instead of just being released here and hitting the ground. It will take time, but I've been patient, so I'm looking forward to waiting another 8 weeks till the first release.
TikTok is one of the avenues that people are using to market their music. Are you plugged into social media, TikTok and all that?
I'm very recent to TikTok, but it's growing nicely. My Instagram, that's I've got a good fan base there, you know, I've got up in the 20-something. So yeah, we're doing all right. But I think the main thing is going to be things like this, performing and collaborations, you know. Yeah, TikTok, I'll get up to date on that. How are you doing? How's your followers?
The World Music Review is on TikTok.
Okay, so let me follow you on TikTok, and then you follow back, and then I've got one new follower, and I may have a few more, thanks to you.
In terms of your tours, right? And you're going to be all over the place with your tour. When people come to your live concerts, what should they expect? So
we've got a fusion of electronic production, but the bass is organic. It's real music. You know, it's instruments, and there'll be some ballads. There'll be some heartwarming songs. Most of my songs are uplifting, and they're a message of hope and not giving up. You know, so I think there's hopefully going to be something for everyone.
Yeah. Give them an example of the songs coming on the album.
Okay, so the first track is Freedom, and I wrote that during the pandemic, and it wasn't the obvious meaning. It wasn't so much about stepping outside during a lockdown. It was about freeing your mind from the media was so suppressive during that time when people couldn't go and see family, they couldn't go to the gym, you know, the kids couldn't go to school. And it was just a message, you know, we will stand together when this is over and we'll be stronger. And the second track is Get Back Up Again. Runs off of that theme. It's a bit more aggressive with its production, a bit more of a hip hop vibe, but it makes sense. When you hear it, you'll get it.
I want to hear it. Sing. Give me an acapella.
So for Get Back Up Again.
Freedom.
Okay. You can take my freedom. I'm waiting for change. A change in seasons, never gonna be the same. 'Cause I've been down before. There's only one way to go. Trying to find my way home, I traveled that road alone. What doesn't kill me only makes me stronger. And all of the hunger making me a survivor. That's it. You have to download it and stream it now.
And to be clear, this music was produced right here in Jamaica.
Right here, yeah. I started recording here 2 years ago at Writing Camp. Yeah, I wrote the demos then. Since then, we've got, 15 tracks. And we're ready to start letting them out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who's your top 5 favorite artists of all time?
So, number 1 would be Donny Hathaway for the vocals. Lyrically, Gil Scott-Heron. Michael Jackson, because when I was young, the Jackson 5 were the first Motown act that I associated with, because I felt like I was that
Two
child, I think they're my top 3.
more.
Bob Marley would have to be in there because of his passion, the message. He never gave up, he never faltered on truth, and Paolo Nutini. Paolo Nutini, he's a Scottish singer. Yeah. He's a Scottish singer with an Italian name who sings soul. World class, so he was an inspiration to me. The way he sings, he's just himself, but it's pure soul.
Yeah.
And he's Scottish, he's white with an Italian name, and he can get away with it, I can,
As you walk around Jamaica, you interact with the people here. What do you think is the cultural edge for Jamaica worldwide?
I think it's just a country that's been through so much. I see beauty in, it's just such a beautiful place. The spirit I see in people is just, there's so much fire still. Even though people are so downtrodden, they can shake a leg, They know how to express happiness and gratitude and keep it real. There's no, they're not trying to be anything else but themselves, and I look up to that, So I'm blessed to be here. I'm very happy to be here.
That sounds like Jamaicans for real.
Yeah, for real.
And you're coming back soon, right?
Hopefully soon. I reckon about 4 weeks' time I'll be back.
And the EP will be out when?
So we're looking at the second week in July.
Okay.
That may change, but second week in July is good for me.
Freedom on G-Jam Music.
G-Jam Music, Freedom EP, second week of July.